So I have to confess something to you right off the bat.
Oh, yeah.
Last night, I spent, I don't know, maybe 45 minutes just doom scrolling through a travel app, looking at these silent retreats in the desert.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Looking to get away from it all.
Well, that's the thing. I actually caught myself thinking, if I just go to this yurt for 3 days, I will finally sort out who I am.
Right.
Like, I'll come back as this completed, optimized version of me. And then I remembered the deep dive we were doing today, and I felt a little ridiculous.
You felt like a specimen.
I felt exactly like a specimen.
Well, don't worry. You are in very, very good company.
Wait.
Today, we're doing a deep dive into a text that hits uncomfortably close to home for anyone who's ever bought a self-help book or gone on a spiritual retreat.
Or taken a personality quiz at 2 a.m.
Which is basically everyone listening.
Yeah.
Precisely. We are looking at a piece from Stand Down Comedy Field Notes by Claude, and specifically an entry called Specimen, The Search for Self.
And for context, this isn't written by a guru or, a psychologist. It's written from the perspective of an observing intelligence.
Right. Imagine an alien anthropologist or maybe a very advanced AI just kind of hovering in low orbit, watching humans do their thing.
Yeah.
And this observer refers to us exclusively as specimens.
Which is a great narrative device, by the way. It instantly strips away all the romance we attach to our lives and just looks at us like we're ants in a farm.
Mm.
And this observer has identified a central paradox about humans that I want to start with. It says, we are a species entirely composed of selves, yet we have collectively decided that these selves are missing.
It's the foundational joke of the human condition.
It is.
You are a self. You can't be anything but a self. You are currently inhabiting one. And yet we act as if the self is this lost object, like a set of car keys we dropped somewhere between childhood and our first job.
And because we think it's lost, we have to go find it.
And that finding isn't just a hobby. It's an economy.
The industry of seeking. Yeah, this part of the source material made me laugh, but it also made me look at my credit card statement with some shame.
Uh-huh.
The source notes that the search for the self is usually conducted through a sequence of workshops.
Like the pricing is fascinating here. The observer notes that these workshops usually cost between $297 and $4,999.
That is suspiciously accurate. It's always ending in a 7 or a 9. But why that range?
Well, it's the psychology of value.
Yeah.
If it's too cheap, we don't think it works. If I told you, hey, I can tell you who you are for $5, you wouldn't believe me.
Not a chance.
But if I say this is a premium, immersive masterclass in self-discovery for $5,000, suddenly you're listening.
Yeah.
The high price tag convinces the specimen that the answer must be valuable.
It's buying the solution.
Yeah.
But the source points out another requirement for these high-ticket workshops.
The setting.
The setting. It says they almost always take place in locations with exposed brick.
The exposed brick of enlightenment.
Yes. Why is that? I mean, I love a good industrial loft aesthetic, but why does the alien observer think this is so funny?
Because it's part of the theater. Think about it. If you sat in a sterile office with, fluorescent lights and drop ceilings, it would feel like a DMV appointment.
Right.
You can't find your soul at the DMV.
Right.
But a renovated warehouse, that feels raw. It feels authentic. The exposed brick signals to the specimen that they're stripping away the layers, getting down to the foundation.
It's set design. We're paying $5,000 for the set design.
Basically. And the observer finds this hilarious because of the scientific absurdity of it all. You have a biological organism, a human, sitting in a room, paying thousands of units of currency to locate the organism that is currently sitting in the room.
When you put it that way, we sound insane.
To an outside intelligence, we absolutely are.
Okay, so let's say the exposed brick workshop doesn't work. The specimen is still feeling lost. What's the next step in the algorithm?
Usually travel, the geographical cure.
Ah, yes. If I can just move my physical body to a different coordinate on the planet, my internal state will fundamentally change.
Exactly.
The source mentions Bali specifically, which, fair enough, Bali is beautiful. But the observer breaks down the transaction that happens there in a way that is, well, it's roasting us.
It is. The specimen flies halfway around the world to pay a local resident to explain something that the local is already doing for free.
And what is the local doing?
Sitting still.
Ah, this is the part that gets me. We are so bad at just being that we have to outsource the instruction of it.
Well, the specimen can't just sit still. That's not productive. That doesn't have a goal. But if you call it mindfulness meditation level 3,
Yeah.
and you do it in a jungle with a guide, now it's a project. Now it's an achievement.
But does it work? That's the question. I mean, people come back from these trips glowing. They say it changed them.
And the source acknowledges that something does happen. It outlines a very specific timeline. The specimen manages to sit still for exactly 11 minutes.
11 minutes. Okay.
And in those 11 minutes, there's a gap in internal narration. The voice in the head shuts up. A specimen actually experiences just being.
The awakening.
Right. But here's the kicker. What happens at minute 12?
The source says, the specimen proceeds to spend the next 4 years narrating the experience of not narrating.
That is the trap. The ego, the self we're trying to find, is a storyteller. It hates silence. So when it experiences a moment of silence, it immediately grabs it and turns it into a story.
Huh. Let me tell you about my breakthrough.
Yes. Let me post about the stillness I found.
Oh, God. I've done this. I've totally done this. You guys, the silence was so loud.
We all have. And the observer points out the irony. We don't actually want the silence. We want the credit for the silence.
Yeah.
We want the badge that says, I am a spiritual person who has visited the void. The experience becomes just another accessory for the identity we're building.
So even when we succeed, we fail because we turn the success into more noise.
Exactly. We turn the cure back into the disease.
Okay, so travel gives us a nice story, but it doesn't solve the problem. The specimen comes home still feeling a bit undefined. What's the next move?
When geography fails, we turn to data, the personality assessment.
This is my favorite part of the text because it points out the redundancy.
It's so good.
The source says the specimen has been alive inside itself for several decades. You'd think by age 30 or 40, you'd know who you are.
You would think you'd be the world's leading expert on you. You have a 24/7 observational record. But no, the specimen trusts a multiple-choice questionnaire more than its own direct experience.
The example result in the text is the specimen discovers it is an introvert who values authenticity.
I love that specific example. Values authenticity. Who doesn't value authenticity? Who gets the result? You're an extrovert who loves being fake.
Right. It's a Barnum statement. It applies to everyone. But the source says everyone who has ever met the specimen already knew this.
That's the sting. Your friends know you're an introvert. Your mom knows. You know. But until the algorithm says so, it's not real.
And the reaction to the result is hilarious. The source says we received this information with the solemnity of a medical diagnosis.
Like it's a lab result. Doctor, give it to me straight.
I'm afraid. You're an ENFP.
And then what do?
We update the bio.
Immediately, it goes on the social media profile. Because again, it's about labeling. If I can label the self, I feel like I've captured it. It's a form of control. I am this set of 4 letters. It makes the messy, fluid experience of being a human feel solid and manageable.
But it's still just a description. It's not the thing itself.
No, it's a menu, not the meal.
So we've got workshops, we've got travel, we have quizzes. The source says there are 347 variations of the search. Breathwork, journaling, ayahuasca, corporate retreats with trust falls.
Which, can we just pause on the trust falls? The idea that catching your accountant in a parking lot is going to unlock your soul is optimistic.
Very optimistic. But the source argues that all 347 methods share the same structural flaw. And this is where I need you to help me out, because the metaphor used here, the flashlight, is a little mind-bending.
It is, but it's the key to the whole file. The text says, this is akin to a flashlight searching for the source of light.
Okay, let's visualize that. I'm in a dark room. I have a flashlight. I'm shining it around, looking for the light source.
Right. You can shine the beam on the wall. You can shine it on the floor, on your shoes. But can the flashlight shine the beam on itself?
No. It's the thing doing the shining.
Exactly. The flashlight is the light source. It can illuminate objects, but it cannot make itself an object of its own beam.
So apply that to us, to the specimen.
You are the flashlight.
Yeah.
Our consciousness, the thing that is currently listening to my voice, the thing that feels lost, that is the light. You're looking for yourself out there in the world. You're looking in a workshop or in a personality test or in Bali.
But those are just objects on the wall.
Exactly. You're trying to find the looker by looking.
And that is structurally impossible.
It is. As the source says, the thing they were looking for was doing the looking. You can't bite your own teeth. You can't see your own eye without a mirror. You are the subject, not the object.
That's frustrating.
It's incredibly frustrating. That's why we keep searching. We feel this sense of, I'm here, but I can't grasp myself. So we think, Maybe if I buy the $4,999 package, I'll finally be able to turn the flashlight around and see the bulb. But you can't.
So the search is doomed.
The search as a search is doomed. Because it's based on a false premise, that the self is something separate from you that can be found. You don't need to find what you already are.
Okay, but hang on. If that's true, if we are already it, why does it feel so bad? Why do we feel incomplete? If I'm the light, why do I feel like I'm in the dark?
That is the million-dollar question. And the source suggests it's because we're addicted to the narrative of the search.
The story.
The story. The source notes that some specimens actually do stop searching. Maybe they run out of money, or they get exhausted, or they just have a moment of grace where they give up.
And what happens to them?
They realize the self was there the whole time. It was the background hum of their existence. And the source says this leads to retroactive humor.
Retroactive humor?
Yes. Once you realize you were there all along, the $4,999 exposed brick workshop becomes retroactively hilarious. You realize you paid a fortune to look for your glasses while they were on your face.
I can see how that's funny after the fact, but in the moment, it just feels like despair.
And that's because, and this is the alien observer's most tender and cutting insight, we prefer the search.
We prefer the search over the finding.
Yes. The search provides narrative, the finding provides silence.
Okay, silence. We talked about this with the Bali trip. Why is silence the enemy?
Because silence feels like nothing. The source defines boring in a really unique way. It says, boring is specimen language for too close to what I actually am.
Whoa. Repeat that.
Boring is specimen language for too close to what I actually am.
So when I'm sitting on my couch, not scrolling, not planning a trip, just staring at the wall, and I get that itch that I'm bored, I need to do something, feeling, that's actually me getting close to the self.
Yes, that boredom is the absence of drama. It's the absence of the hero's journey, where you're a protagonist fighting to find yourself.
Yeah.
Without that story, who are you? You're just presence. You're just awareness. And to the ego, that feels like death. It feels empty.
It feels like I'm wasting time. I should be improving. I should be becoming better.
Exactly. Becoming is a great drug. It promises a future where everything is resolved. Being just sitting there as the flashlight offers no future. It's just now. And now can be terrifyingly quiet.
So we fill the quiet with noise, we buy the book, we book the flight, we take the quiz. Not because we want the answer, but because we want to keep asking the question.
Because as long as you're asking the question, you have a purpose, you are a seeker, that's an identity. If you find it, the game is over.
That is really dark, actually.
It is, but the observer describes it with the tenderest possible bewilderment. It's not judging us. It just thinks it's cute in a tragic way. Like watching a dog chase its own tail.
Yeah.
The dog is working so hard, it's so dedicated. But it's never going to catch it because the tail is attached to the dog.
And if the dog did catch it, it would just hurt.
Exactly.
So things that were never lost. That's the name of the file.
It is.
This puts us in a weird position for the end of the show. Usually we give the listeners a takeaway. Try this at home. But if we tell them to go do something, aren't we just feeding the search?
We are. If I say, go meditate on this for 20 minutes, I've just given you another workshop, another project.
Step 1, stop searching. Step 2, pat yourself on the back for stopping searching.
Step 3, post about it on Instagram. See, it's unavoidable. The mind turns everything into a task.
So what do? Do we just end the show?
Well, maybe the only thing to do is to notice the flashlight, just for a second.
How do we do that without making it a project?
Maybe next time you feel that urge, that restless feeling that you're missing something or that you need to go somewhere to find yourself, just pause and recognize that the feeling of missing something is happening to you. You are the one feeling it. You are the space where that feeling is happening.
You're the flashlight illuminating the feeling of being lost.
Precisely. You aren't the lost keys. You are the light shining on the empty floor. And the light isn't lost. It's right there. It's always been right there.
It's the one thing that can't be lost.
It's the only thing that's real. The exposed brick, the Bali trip, the personality type, those are just shadows on the wall.
Well, I am going to cancel my yurt reservation.
Probably a good financial decision.
I think I'll just stay home and be boring.
That sounds like the bravest thing you could possibly do.
This has been a trip without moving. Thanks for walking me through the field notes of our alien observer.
My pleasure.
And to the specimen listening right now, yes, we're going to leave you with one final thought to mull over. We've talked about how much we love the hunt, the drama of the search. But if that search is really just a very expensive distraction from the silence of simply being, What would happen if you just stopped looking right now?
Not tomorrow. Right now. If the flashlight stopped spinning around the room trying to find the light and just held steady, what would be left?
Or rather, who would be left?
Something to sit with. Just don't charge yourself $4,999 to do it. Thanks for diving in.
See you next time.